Welcome to Bobby Bowden Field, inside here to Doak Campbell Stadium, alongside Ryan Pensy. I'm Scott Kodak. Ryan, we honestly hate this time of year. It's the last home game, so that means football is officially ending here in Tallahassee, but big-time opponent coming in. It's homecoming, it's senior day. You got to like it. It's a fun atmosphere here.
Yeah, you're right, Scott. It's not your dad's Virginia team anymore. This is a new team led by head coach Mike London, and he's got them running in the right direction. Let's not forget, he's in his second year. He's trying to build this program that he inherited, and they're headed in that right direction. They've got big wins this year over Georgia Tech and Miami. And if the Seminoles are overlooking this Virginia team and looking ahead to next week to their game down in Florida, then the Seminoles better be on upset alert, because Virginia is good enough to come in and get a win.
That's been a theme today. You see teams like Florida struggling with Furman, Samford almost beating Auburn, Georgia struggling with Kentucky. That's a theme. As we approach the Gator game next week, the Seminoles can't overlook Virginia, a very good 7-3 team, just like us.
You're absolutely right about that, Scott, and I think the difference is that Virginia is the type of team, and no offense to some of those other clubs, but Virginia is the type of team, if you overlook them, not only will they beat you, they'll beat you soundly. They like to run the football. They've got a two-headed running attack, and oftentimes it reminds me of when you watch those old BC teams. If they get out there on the field late in the game with a lead, they could run 10, 12, 14 plays off because they're looking to control the clock.
One of the big things is quarterback Michael Rocco for the Cavaliers just doesn't make mistakes. He's been sacked 0 times in the past 3 games. That offensive line has done a great job. How can the Seminoles rattle Rocco early?
Well, you hope that the fact that this guy's a 19-year-old true sophomore, that they might be able to get in his head. But if they can't, then they just need to maybe come up with an early interception, an early fumble, some sort of a turnover to get this crowd involved. We saw that last week. Even though the play was overturned, what LaMarcus Joyner was able to do on the first play from scrimmage, it energized this crowd. And we know that the students will be here. It's homecoming. It's a great opportunity for fans to come back to Tallahassee, and you want them in it early and often. You don't want fans sitting on their hands.
And the one thing is, it is senior day. It's seniors like Nigel Bradham, our friend Sean Powell, a lot of guys that have made a great impact in this institution. This is their last time to play in Doak. You got to think the emotions are going to run high for them.
Well, they are, and I think that's one of the keys to this game, is the emotions can't run too high. And I've seen it in other sports outside of football where you start thinking that this is my last time playing at this venue, or the last time that I'll be dressing in my home locker room, and before you know it, you're down 14 points. Well, this Seminole team seems to have the focus that they need to come out and get this win today over Virginia. We had an opportunity to speak with Nigel Bradham earlier this week, and he said he doesn't think it'll hit him until late in the game, or maybe once the game's over, that this is it here at home, and you hope that that's the case.
Let's get right down to it. What are our 3 keys to victory for the Seminoles to move to 8-3 in the league, have the exact same record in the ACC we did in 2010?
Well, I'm looking for a big game once again from E.J. Manuel. This is kind of a homecoming game of sorts against the Virginia Cavaliers. He's from Virginia Beach, and when he has been most effective this year, it's when he's not turning the football over and causing mistakes. If he can come out and have a solid game, then I like the Seminoles' chances. I'd also like to see Devontae Freeman get over 100 yards. And don't overlook a guy like Jermaine Thomas. This is his final game at Florida State. It has been up and down at times, but he'd love nothing more than to come out and have that one last glory game for the Florida State Seminoles. And then defensively, it's all about controlling the running game. If you force Rocco to beat you, I like the Noles' chances.
The one thing the Seminoles have to do today, we would all agree, they have to run the ball. You have got to establish a run on Virginia. And I think we may overlook it every week. I think Seminole fans saw it last week. Sean Powell is the best punter in the nation, bar none. He might not be a Ray Guy finalist, but he is the best punter in the nation. Sean Powell pinning that team when we're in the student section here in the north end zone, it can get awfully loud, and for a kid like Rocco, that can rattle him early.
You're right, it can, and I think that's something that fans oftentimes overlook as special teams, but I guarantee you look at a game last night against Oklahoma State and Iowa State, and it came down to a last-second field goal that was missed in overtime. What the Seminoles have right now with Powell and Hopkins is maybe that tandem that you only get every 5 or 10 years, and they need to enjoy it while they've got it. Powell is the best kicker, in my opinion, in the country, and Hopkins is right up there as one of the best kickers. These guys are difference makers, and they help both the offense and the defense.
Everything gets started tonight at 7:30. Beautiful weather here in Tallahassee. We're expecting temperatures in the mid-50s, low 60s. Could you imagine better football weather than that?
There isn't better football weather than that. Great way to close out the season under the lights at Doak.
You can follow everything here on Seminoles.com, a live game chat. You can listen live with Ryan and Gene Deckerhoff and the whole Seminole IMG Sports Network crew. Our chat, Facebook, Twitter, great video highlights. We got everything for you here on Seminoles.com. So for the final time at home in 2011, for Ryan Pensy, I'm Scott Kodak saying go Noles. We'll see you after the game.